Yes,
How
ma'am.
many other states besides Arkansas might already have this law?
Well, to some degree or another, well, it's probably gone up, but at that time, we were the fourth state in Arkansas. Now, the other states aren't as full scale as Arkansas and Arizona. The other states, they go through the revenue department. People have to get driver's licenses. They'll train some revenue people to be able to detect fraudulent documentation. And so it varies as to what kind of scale, but I don't know. Somebody yell out a number.
42, isn't it?
It's probably 42 to some degree. Now, Arkansas and Arizona it's law enforcement. It's our state police and local police out there doing it. Not all states have it that broad. Yes, ma'am.
Do you remember what year that was passed?
Oh, I remember it well. It was 2005. And I'll tell you, the ACLU specifying against it. All the corporations in Arkansas were against it. Chamber of Commerce was against it. And I'm afraid to say Republican leadership was against it. But we passed it in spite of all that. Yes, sir?
It would seem to me that if you go to the Division of Motor Vehicles to get a license, it's just way too easy to get a license.
Yeah.
When I shifted my residence from Texas up to here, got a license, didn't ask for anything, and then they said, "Oh, do you want to vote?" I'm going, wait a minute, you don't even know who I am. And you can register a car here. Now, if you try to get a driver's license without, in theory, and you are illegal, they may catch you there. But they're not stopping the registration of the vehicle from my observation. Until you get to the point where you generate this paperwork so that the documents that you are printing are traceable. You can tell the difference of those that aren't. When you stop these folks, you're not going to be able to arrest easily to back up the arrests or whatever.
You're exactly right. And there was actually legislation back when I was there to remove the requirements. Right now the law says you have to be a legal resident in order to get an Arkansas driver's license. Well, there's a bill to remove that. Can you believe that?
Yeah.
And it passed the Senate. And we killed it with barely 2 votes, stopping it from becoming law in Arkansas, where you wouldn't even have to be a legal resident. Once you get a driver's license, you can board any plane you want, travel wherever you want in the country. So there's an effort to even make it weaker. But you're right. And another problem we have, there's an investigation by the U.S. Attorney over in Western Arkansas, who used to be a U.S. Attorney, a good friend of mine. They were selling, the local state employees with the Department of Revenue Services down in South Arkansas were selling real driver's licenses to illegal aliens. They raided it, found $60,000 in cash in this person's drawer, and a whole list of, or a whole stack of driver's licenses with fake names on it. So it is and the reason they were doing that was a big employer down there had asked they needed to get some identification so they can hire people.
Was that person prosecuted?
Yes, they were. That U.S. attorney was name's Bob Balfe, and he did a good job on this issue. He was actually on the Glenn Beck show, actually talking about this. So.
Jeremy, I want to ask, because being law enforcement, why is it that when you all have passed this law, that the sheriffs, the local police, and everything, why are they able to not enforce it?
Well, it's up to them. I mean, each individual sheriff has discretion over their budget and their office, but what it's going to take is local pressure from citizens saying, do this. Their initial reaction is, well, now, the program, the feds pay for the training. Police officers who are trained go to Department of Homeland Security, get training on document, on identification, on all the federal immigration laws and processing. That's paid for by the feds. What the locals will say, that if we send somebody to be trained, and we have to pay overtime to somebody else while they're gone. Well, that's true. But you can send one at a time. I mean, you don't have to send the whole force at once. You can incrementally do it. The other thing is, everywhere where this has been done, that drug asset forfeiture has tripled. Asset forfeiture is if you pull somebody over, you find a car, you open the trunk, and there's drugs. Well, you keep the car. You don't return the car to them whenever they get out of prison. Well, that car then is sold, and that proceeds, some of that stays local, some of it goes to the state. Well, that's tripled when this program's implemented. Because if you pull somebody over and you suspect they're illegal alien, you detain them. You only used to have 15 minutes to either arrest them or let them go on their way, never to be heard from again. Well, now you can detain them on suspicion of immigration violation, take them back to the county jail, do their check on them, verify everything. While you're there, you do an inventory search of the vehicle. Well, that turns up a lot of times. You find drugs. You find there's been child traffickers caught using this program. There's been terrorists caught. A lot of drug traffickers. It's your asset forfeiture goes up. It ends up making money for whoever implements it. It may be a small investment up front, but it ends up making money. So there is no reason why anybody shouldn't do it. Scott, to answer your question, and I'm done. Thank you very much.
Question? Quick?
Okay. The problem with the county jail is full. Okay, so how would we expedite these particular criminals? We've got to be able to expedite them because there's no room. What would you say?
Well, first of all, even if you choose not to house them while they're being deported, you may not have the jail space. Each local community is going to have to make that decision. You can at least detain them long enough to know, is this person a terrorist? Are they trafficking drugs? Are they wanted in California for something? If they're not, if they're just a worker here and you don't have the jail space, then you can make a decision whether or not you want to detain them long enough there, use up your jail space until the feds can come get them. But right now, we don't even know. We're just letting people go left and right and don't know how violent they are or what type of threat they are to society. So you can detain them, and then you can make a determination whether or not you want to use your jail space to house them or just let them go.
Why can't ordinary
Okay.
citizens volunteer to drive them to the border and dump them?